Do you think another player could or even should enter the console market as it is today outside of Amico and Ouya?
Oh,
Ouya.
Outside? I don't think so.
Wow, Ouya, the heady days. Wow. Anyway, I can't think of other companies stepping their toes into the gaming waters outside of Apple's short attempt with the fourth gen Apple TV. I also wonder with projects like the Evercade, Mister and Pico 8, why hasn't the gaming community turned something like Raspberry Pi into a console outside of running emulators on it? John, is there room in the market for another console player?
actual major player, I would say no. Like it's not. I mean, it would have to be a major company with a huge amount of cash to invest. So we're talking like Amazon, Apple, and the like. But even then, I don't know if they could conceivably pull it off right now, or if it would be worth the massive investment it would take to get there. And I'm not sure like the console model even fits their business models anymore. So like it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me to even want to get into this market at this point. I mean, Microsoft's clearly trying to turn Xbox more into a service as opposed to like a single box, right? And it's just Nintendo really is the one that's hanging on to the old style console model. Sony's kind of straddling that line. It would be difficult to imagine what would make a company want to get into it. I mean, the closest thing I say to comparison is something like, I guess Meta Facebook stuff with like the Oculus Rift, right? Because like that is kind of its own platform for VR content still. The Oculus Quest specifically, I mean, it's a standalone unit. You buy games to play on the Quest, that's what it is. But it's not exactly a traditional console. So I think that's why instead we see things like the Evercade, Mister, and the like, where you have these little standalone units that people are using for things almost like, sometimes for hobby, sometimes just for, fun. And those actually stand a chance because they're not trying to play in the big boy pool. They have a totally different audience and they're going at it for a smaller scale. But I don't think we're going to have another player that stacks up to Microsoft, Sony, or Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at Microsoft and Sony at the fundamental level, the boxes are too similar, really. The reason we have those two boxes is because they're legacy brands, right? They're legacy brands that have built up over the decades. But at the nuts and bolts levels, the consoles are actually, pretty much the same on a global level. They do the same things, right? They're built from the same technology. We don't need a third contender, and that's actually why when Nintendo came along with Switch and they went with Nvidia and went with a mobile solution, I think that was probably for the best for all concerned to actually have that differentiation, to actually deliver something new. So to have another player enter the console market as it is today, as Veganburger suggests, it would be a really bad thing and doomed to failure, I think. And it's about doing something new, I think. And you're right, John, in that VR has found some level of audience via the Oculus Quest. But, it's not in the same sort of gigantic league as PlayStation and Xbox at this point. But yeah, no room in the market, but certainly room, as Veganburger suggests, for additional devices.